All right, now sometimes when you're animating a scene, jumping right in here, we want to, especially in 2D, we want to save time. The scene isn't that important. The idea of this scene is character's looking one way and he's going to look the other way. So I'm just going to move the eyes. Just going to make a relatively decent body drawing here. Going to have some stuff going on in the background. And it's just going to be the eyes going from one side here to the other side. That's it. These are my two key drawings. So I'm going to be drawing clean. You can see I'm drawing a little bit rough here. And I'm going to be fine with that. I need to get this done quickly. I have other scenes that require more time, and I'm going to record this. So it's probably take 15 minutes maybe. And maybe I do a time lapse, maybe just let it play straight through. But yeah, here's the animation process, regardless 2D, 3D. It's the workflow that's important to get from one place to another, have a beginning, middle, end to the scene, and have some interesting breakdowns and a good way of getting there. All right, let's go. So I'm going to make some blanks in the middle here. I think the first thing I'll start off with is a blink. Yeah, so I'm going to turn on my onion skinning here. You can see my before and after. I'm just going to use my before, actually. I don't need to see my after. And as I'm doing this, I've set up my keyframes T-feed paint here so I can flip between them. I have the onion skinning on, but the flipping is the thing that's really important to see how the animation's going to play together. So here we're going to have blink, something like this. I definitely need to turn the onion skinning off there. It's mostly working. I think when that's all painted, that'll be a lot easier to read where the pupil goes. Yeah, that's working. And over here. Something like that. I want to avoid overlapping the silhouettes of those lines. I think that's working pretty well. This one over here could be a bit more rounded. I think this one over here is working pretty successfully to suggest the globe that's underneath the eyes there. Yeah, you know what? Let's just do this. So in case I want to keep this one, I'll go here and just erase this, but I'll keep the previous one. And that's where the other one was. Something more rounded. Then I can flip between them and see which one I like better. Yeah, I'm liking parts of this one better. I'm liking the overall shape of it, but I don't like how that line was not clear. So there we go, there's our crease up there. Yeah, that's feeling better. Very good, so that's my blink. All right, that's working, nice, nice, nice. And I'll move these around as I need to as I go. I'm gonna save this. Make another in between here. Onion skinning. That's where I'm going to. It's going to be favoring this open one here, so I don't need to see where I'm going to, really. I know and remember enough about where I'm going. This is what I really want to see. I want to see this eye closing here. Highlight's going to come down, pupil's going to come down. Yeah, it's rough, but that'll be fine. Here's my crease up there. This crease here is going to be moving. See, now this crease, I'm not buying it so much, so I'm going to do this one more time. Crease on the screen left there, I'm buying completely, but the screen right one, just not quite there where I want it to go in the animation. That's what I need. I need it to go up higher there, lower over there. Put that on there. Yep, good. Just need a thicker line. Good. All right. Yeah, that's mostly working. This one here, see, that could be a little bit taller. I don't want to touch that one, so I'm going to miss the benefit of drawing digitally, of course. You can go in and modify the drawings to make it a little bit taller. Yep, you can see how that's flipping. It's going pretty well. Not liking that iris gaining volume there. So I'm going to make that smaller. Yeah, it's a little bit squished there, but I can buy that. Okay, good. I see a little bit of line popping there, so we'll add to that. Nice. All right, other eye, getting my shoulder up here, potentially in front of the camera, is what it is. And you know what, I'm going to show where I'm going here. So I'm starting off with the red, I'm going towards the blue. Okay, now I can turn off the onion scan. I have enough information down there. Good. Turn this back on. It's going down there, going down there. Going down here. Losing a lot more of the iris in the pupil here. I should have said pupil the first time, just because of the angle, but I think I can buy that. Yep, that's working for me. Get those lashes in there, avoid them popping too much. Globe of the eye. Not liking how much that's moving to the left apparently, so I'm going to try to minimize that. Yeah, that's almost working. Good enough. Introduce a bit of line there. Great. Okay, I think I need one more tween there. Great. Connect those eyelids, I think. Yeah. Yep, I think that's helping. Good, so I can connect the eyelid here. Yeah, it's mostly working. This one here. Yep, sell that with the eyelashes. sure that we're clear on the pupil and the iris here. Good. Highlight is going to be covered up now. There we go, that half-lidded eye. Good. Eyelash over here. Yep, just a little bit there. This eye is going to be a little bit more closed, but we'll still be able to see the pupil clearly there. There is the... And I might slightly adjust the held cell face drawing afterwards just to get more clarity on the drawing here. Yep, to get more clarity to avoid silhouettes overlapping so much. But that's a later challenge. And that's way too thick on that crease up there. Control Z 8 times. Good. There's this. No perspective. There we go. There's this. Very nice. All right, might be a little bit slow towards the end there, but I've got lots of time, so I'll probably just put that on for one frame, and everything else I'll be on twos potentially. Yep, taking a step back, looking at it as a overall drawing. Zoom out, zoom in, zoom out, zoom in. Keep track of that perfect moment. Yep, I can buy it. Very good. Maybe a little bit too busy on the lines here and on the roughness compared to the rest of the drawing, which is, it's still somewhat rough, but it's relatively clean. But nah, it's fine. The eye's sliding a bit. I'm not too worried. Great, let's keep going. Eye opening now. Okay, that's 12 minutes, so we'll probably hit about 20 by the time we're done here. And yeah, however long we hold this for, you know what? We need one more frame here of squashing that eye as it's closed. So I'll take this here, rotate it around, bring that up a little bit more, bring this down a little bit more, bring those lines in a little bit more pressure, a little bit more compression. Same with this one over here. A little tighter, a little tighter. There's our curve. We got our eyelashes there. There's our crease. Let's see how that's feeling. Yep, the idea is to make sure that it feels like it's squashed. It's not just losing volume. Let's get a bit more over there. Yep, again, I can mostly buy that. Maybe losing a little bit of interest over there, but overall it's working. Good. Going straight to clean. Don't have a lot of time on this project left. I got about 60, 70 hours. So 80 hours, 75, and it's, yep, it's still a lot to do. So we just got to get through scenes like this quickly. All right, and starting to open now. Now on the way down, tried to focus a little bit on the eyelid doing that, and on the way up, I could focus on the eyelid going in the reverse. So there we go. bulging over here. Oh yeah, on that squash. I could have started to move the eyeball over to screen left underneath the lid. Is what it is. I'll take what I got for now. Still not going to see the highlight here. Maybe I'll try and get a bit of the highlight in there. Let's see if I can force it in. Maybe. That could work. Okay, and there's our bulge. And obviously this is cartoony. This isn't realistic blinking. There's a lot of artistic license being taken here. All right, there's that. 1, 2, 3. Good enough. Get this up here. There's that. Here's our crease. There's our lower lid. Here's our crease there, crease there. A little bit of scribbling. Let's get that pupil down lower. Let's cheat that highlight in there a little bit. Good enough. Oh, yeah, that came together pretty quickly. I got a little bit of a problem with the inside of the eye there. It's kind of floating and moving, but good enough. Again, let's zoom out. Look at this as a drawing. Yep, I could buy that as a drawing, as a frame all by itself. Okay, and then we have maybe 2 in-betweens left here. Maybe I'd do 3, just to really settle in at the end, because there's not much else going on in this scene. It's just a placeholder to get from one scene to the next. Okay, and you know what? Now I'm just going to be focusing on this last one, because everything is going to be close enough to that. I don't mind if there's a bit of popping between the previous one, because I just want to get into this. This is where I'm ending up. This is the important point. Now that I'm looking at this drawing, I probably would have done it a little bit differently, just based on how I've led into it, but it'll be fine. Yep, buying that for the most part. Okay, and this can go up a little bit. I'll just start a little bit lower here. Not a ton, just enough so we get a sense of motion. And I like coloring it. I could just fill that, you know, just click the fill button, but it's just more tactile, more interesting, filling it in manually, quote unquote, manually on a digital device. That might not be going up enough, but you know what? It'll be fine. And over to here. I didn't have very much eyelash over here, so I'm just going to add a little bit more. There we go. And again, you can see how rough I'm being. This doesn't have to be exact. This is not a, oh, I'm doing the one way there is to do this. There's 100 different ways to do this. This will turn out 100 different ways depending on how I'm feeling, what time of day it is, what I ate today, how tired I am, how busy I've been. Let's do some onion skinning here because I have some lines that are not animating terribly well at the moment. There we go. Let's get that in there. Red is where I started, blue is where I'm going. So let's get those off there. Yep, something like that. That's pretty good. That'll help. And once again, I'm just going to that's fine. See, look how rough. Look how rough. It's great. I like it. I like it. Doesn't have to be exact. Okay, highlight, pupil. Iris. Yeah, mostly. That pupil might be a little bit too exaggerated in size here. And I'm going to be coloring the inside of this pupil, so I can always add more to it if I need to. I'm just going to fill this one. Let's actually fill it with a bit of expand. There we go. Yeah, just for time's sakes. Yeah, see how that's sliding over? That's not ideal. So what I need here is I need to carve this out a little bit. I still want it to be moving up. There we go. Voila. We can even make this a little bit. And you know, when this is all done, that'll be colored in. Oh, that's not ideal though, how much that's moving. Let's take this here. And get that in there. Yep, that's better. Carve that out here. Carve it out here. Better. Good, good, good. Let's have a look at the flipping. Oh, I mean, that could almost work as it is. But I'm going to do one more here. Yeah, I don't think I'll do two more. If I come back and do one more, then great. But it'll just be a technical exercise. It won't be so much of a creative endeavor, just as this drawing here, as this is somewhat more technical. I just have to get between these lines. Of course, I want it to be a good drawing still. I want it to be able to stand alone and look good on its own. This is where flipping is going to come in handy, because just trying to draw it based on the onion skinning here is it's not going to end up with a very appealing drawing, even though it may end up with an accurate drawing. Appeal is subjective, and it's what speaks to the audience. Yeah, good enough. Where can I fill this? Not loving that pupil size, but you know what? That could work. I think I'm just going to go with that for now. Yeah, it's onion skinning. It's got to flip here. Oh, I need onion skinning. There we go. Red to blue. Red to blue. Definitely would have done this a bit differently for the last drawing there. Oh yeah, look at this. See, this needs to be... I'm just going to thicken this up. I'm not going to worry about erasing it or getting it closer in there. Oh, 24 minutes. Okay. Well, I ended up having more fun with this than I thought I was going to. I thought this was just going to be mostly a technical exercise and, you know, not have too many decisions to be made. But yeah, I've been enjoying playing with the shapes here and making it so that this blink has a bit more interest to it, a bit more life, a bit more replayability. It's going to be something that isn't going to get old by the end of the shot. If somebody sees this for the second time, they'll still see something a little bit different, maybe, hopefully. I know I will, because when I go and watch my own animation, I don't like having animation that I look at that is just, yeah, I've seen all that. I remember it exactly as it was. There wasn't anything extra I put in there. I always want to try and, time allowed, time time willing, put something extra in. All right, let's give that a go. And we'll put some pauses at the beginning and end there. Play this on 8 frames a second. And actually, you know what? We don't need that first one. No, that's not helping us. All right. The line thickness on that last drawing is kind of popping, and there's a bit of a weird ripple swimming thing going on the screen left there, but I like it. I'm just going to thicken up a couple lines here. I'm going to put a bit of just to avoid that rippling. Not avoid it, but just take away from it a little bit. See, just to get picky. A little bit of funny business going on with the pupil there. Oops. I just want to have that little point going up there. Good enough. Good, and my highlight needs to be touching the edge there. It is very nice. Let's make that a little bit bigger. Yep. Eyelashes. Let's avoid that popping going on there. These eyelashes are crazy now that I look at them. Oof. Oh my. There we go. That's much more interesting. And since this is the held drawing, we're going to be looking at this one for longer. Let's just put a little bit extra into that. All right. There it is. 25-minute blink. And yeah, that's going to be my scene. Very happy with that. I'll change the timing on it, but it'll be enough to get us from one place to the next and serve the purpose for my next animated short. And I just noticed I just got to connect this line here. I would have noticed that when I got to the ink and paint stage, but yeah, I can play with that. All right, thanks for checking it out. Animation, it's fun. Do it. Everyone should animate. It's something that's accessible. It's reasonable for everybody to do, and it's healthy for the brain, I think. Have a good evening. Thanks.